My name is Jinglong. I am an assistant professor at the operations group here. And my research primarily focuses on developing analytical and experimental methods to build data science capabilities for businesses. This work that I'm presenting today is entitled Food Waste Reduction of Perishable Products Through Markdown at Expiry Dates. This is a joint work with my amazing collaborators, Arnold Dambor and Marie-Jean Jensen. Both of them come from the Netherlands. The scope of today's talk is going to focus on how do we reduce this type of food waste at supermarkets. So food waste accounts for about 8% of supermarkets' food waste account for about 8% of total food waste nowadays. And people start, especially at retailing, start to look at such questions. To understand how do we reduce food waste, let's start from understanding consumer behaviors. So try to imagine yourself walking into a supermarket. In front of you, there are two bushes of bananas. One is the greener bush, and the other one is the brown bananas. Now, raise your hand if you would prefer to purchase the green bananas. Many of you, very good. And now, you can raise your hand now if you prefer to go with the brown bananas. See? Some of you, very good, very good. Okay, so I see a lot of you would prefer the green bananas, and few of you prefer the brown bananas. So they're both right now priced at $1.99. They're equal price, so you're free to choose between them. Now, what if I'm going to nudge you by giving a promotion on the brown bananas? Now, raise your hand again if you would like to purchase the green bananas. I see many of you, very good. But the number of hands I see is smaller. And raise your hand if you prefer to go with the brown bananas. Many more people, amazing. So this is pretty much what I wanted to talk about today. Using simple pricing as a simple lever for retailers to reduce the food waste at the supermarkets. So this is such a simple lever that every supermarket can easily adopt. They do not have to do anything super complicated. They just change the price tag. Such a simple thing could lead to a huge difference. So here is how I approach this model by building an analytical model of modeling the consumer behavior throughout the day. And let's see what can be captured by this analytical model. At the beginning of each day, let's assume that there are two types of bananas on the shelf, with remaining shelf lives being 1 and 2, characterized by these two types of products in in red and in blue. So every single day, we open our supermarket, and then there is going to be a stream of customers who come in and make a choice between product 1 with remaining shelf life equal to 1 and product 2 with remaining shelf life equal to 2 periods. So a random stream of customers arriving one by one. When the first customer comes in, she is going to make a purchase in choosing between these two types of bananas. And such a choice probability can be estimated through the historical data. Alternatively, this customer, instead of picking product 1, this customer can choose product 2. And there is another associated probability with it. And finally, this customer could also be choosing nothing and purchasing nothing, generating no revenue, and just leaves the market. So if a customer arrives, but at that moment, there is nothing of product 1 on the shelf, then this customer is only going to choose between purchasing nothing and purchasing a unit of product 2. And similarly, if there's only product 1 available, this customer is only going to choose between product 1 and purchasing nothing. And if there's nothing available on the shelf, this customer cannot buy this banana. So at the end of the day, we look at the remaining inventory on the shelf. And then what we're going to do is to throw away the remaining products that are going to expire. In this case, product 1, they're going to expire, but we're going to throw them away. These are what we refer to as the food waste incurred at the retailing setup. And then we're going to move these 2 units of product 2 to the left-hand side of the shelf, and we say these are new product 1s on the next period of time. So think of these green bananas, they turn brown on the next period of time. And then we open the store, but before we open the store, we would like to replenish this shelf with several other green bananas to fill the entire shelf space. And that's what we do. That's the operations of this replenishment. And then we open the shop, another random amount of customers come in on the next period, and then this replenishment and purchase cycle happens again and again and again. I will skip all the analytical stuff, but only show you the results. Let's focus on the following picture. On this picture, I'm showing you 2 curves. The black curve refers to as fixed pricing strategy, where it's basically you go into the supermarket, there's only one single price that you see, $1.99. No matter which color of the bananas you buy, it's $1.99 per bush. And the red curve stands for the markdown pricing policy, where the original price for the green bananas is going to be $1.99, and the brown bananas are promoted, are discounted at $0.99. So I'm plotting here the Pareto frontier of these 2 different types of pricing policies. So here we make 2 decisions. One decision is how much do we care about profit? And the other decision is how much do we care about food waste? So as we can see, the more we care about profit, then we're moving towards the right-hand side on the picture. And as a result, we are incurring a higher amount of food waste. So we're moving towards the upper side of the picture. Whereas, on the other hand, if we put more emphasis on reducing the food waste, then we're reaching to the lower part of the picture. But on the other hand, of course, we're making less profit. So these 2 objectives, we can very flexibly incorporate to choose how much emphasis we want to put on either one of these 2 objectives. But the bottom line is to say that using my markdown pricing policy, this Pareto frontier curve always lies below the fixed price Pareto frontier curve, meaning that the markdown pricing policy is going to improve the profit and reduce the food waste at the same time. If we compare these 2 curves along the horizontal axis, then we see that markdown pricing can reduce about 10 to 20% of the markdown pricing can increase 10 to 20% of the profit. Whereas if you look at the vertical axis, we see that markdown pricing can reduce 10 to 100 times of food waste than compared with the fixed price pricing. This is the magnitude of reduction of food waste using markdown pricing. So that's pretty much the results I wanted to show. And maximizing profit does not necessarily always lead to a sacrifice in terms of the food waste. Sometimes you can achieve a win-win situation where you increase the profit and reduce the food waste at the same time. So I'm about to conclude on this page, which is a call for collaborators. If there is anyone who has any connections at industries who would like to actually adopt my analytical model to reduce the food waste as your business, please feel free to let me know. It can be a grocery store, it can be a bakery store selling day-old breads, or it could be selling other perishable products too. So with that, I'm happy to conclude here and take any questions.
Thank you very much. I'm just curious, can you explain how is this different logically and analytically from either retail fashion pricing markdown management or airline revenue management, that kind of thing, other perishable inventory management techniques?
Yes, very good. So in this retail setting, I'm using this bananas example. So basically in this case, the brown bananas compared with the green bananas, the attractiveness do not differ by that much. Whereas, if you're selling some fashion products, then those products that are soon going to be outdated would have a much smaller attractiveness. And if the deterioration of the product is going to significantly hurt the attractiveness to the customers, then there is less value in reducing the food waste using my method. In other words, my method would be better applied to the food waste reduction scenarios where if you're buying these brown bananas, you're still getting a good utility. You are not significantly thinking that the brown bananas are bad or low quality products. If that answers your question. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Professor. My question is that is there a readily available data right now about the food wastage which is currently in supermarkets? And the second part of the question is, what are the supermarkets currently doing to tackle these food wastes?
Yes, very good. To answer your first question, most of the data are proprietary, so I don't currently see any publicly available data source, if that's your question. To answer your second question, I know that Target in 2015, they ran a field experiment just to see when they're pricing the berries, the fresh produced products, the blueberries and the strawberries and the raspberries. They just keep up two piles of products. To the left, they are replenishing the previous cycle, and to the right, they're replenishing the most current cycle. And then they're giving about a 50-cent discount on the pile on the right-hand side, sorry, on the left-hand side, when they are promoting the older berries. That one received a lot of attention, say from say a lot of media coverage, say from Boston Globe. You can see the news reporting over there, but that was in 2015 time. And nowadays, I don't see many businesses doing this. And that's why I'm super excited to see if I can find collaborators who can do this now.
Actually, I have a quick question, final question. But so if a collaborator was interested in participating, a grocery chain or store, how would they implement it? Would this be in their POS system, their inventory system? Have you thought through the logistics of their technology stack and where this would live?
Yes, I think this is not actually complicating the operations of a business at all, in the sense that you can just create a new tag, new price tag, and then you put it on the other shelf, on the other side of the shelf. Because at a retail, at a supermarket, like you have to do this inventory rotation anyways. So in a typical retail setting, think of when we're buying the milk from the shelf, they're adopting a back-loaded system where they load the fresher products from the back of the shelf, and then customers are picking from the front of the shelf. And this can be easily modified such that when people are doing this inventory rotation, they just put a new tag on the other side of the shelf.
Like a sub-SKU or something? Or,
yeah,
right.
yeah. They create a new SKU identifier and then give it a new price tag.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Fantastic.